take you inside my home. I don't, but I'm going to.
My name is Val Kilmer. I'm an actor.
I really love this documentary. My husband and I are big fans of your dad. And it was really nice to see this. It tells his story, but it also tells the story of a struggling actor, right? So I think everyone can see a little bit of themselves if they're in this field in the documentary. Was that kind of what you guys wanted to bring across?
Yes, I think something that that struck me when we saw it at Cannes was like not just how relatable it is to actors, but how relatable it is to just universally, because of we're all documenting things right now, and we're all like in a sense like kind of performing for the camera all the time. And I think that the movie is really coming out at like just the right time, where as an audience we're wanting to like process those concepts.
And Jack, for you, you're essentially representing your dad in the voiceover, and you sound so similar to him. So it's kind of eerie to hear you like, oh wow, he sounds a lot like him. So what was it like for you kind of narrating his life?
Well, yeah, thanks. That was the reaction we wanted, was for it to kind of morph into one and to have this sort of sweet connection of father son and yeah, it was a really cool experience and something I'll really cherish forever. And I just hope I sounded okay and not too mumbly.
No, you were perfect. So to see these behind the scenes videos since childhood, I mean, who does that, right? Can you talk about going through the countless hours? I mean, I'm sure you spent hours and months looking through the footage.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it sounds daunting, but it was wonderful. Every day you don't really you're not sure what you're going to see, which is, that's full of surprises and wonderful little moments, and things that make you laugh and things that just really inspire you. So it was a long process, but it was a really wonderful one.
Now, his children are producers as well. So how did you figure out what kind of tone you wanted to do? Because it's kind of a fun, you see behind the scenes on the movies and you get to know his personality. So who set the tone for the documentary?
Well, I'd known Val for many years going into this version of the film, and I'd helped him years earlier digitize these 800 hours or whatever it is. But Ting and I had the idea, we'd worked together before, and we had the idea to make this first person film. And we went to Val, explained our thoughts, and then showed him afterwards a 3-minute short version of what the film could be, like a sort of teaser, all in the first person. So it doesn't have any talking heads. It's a singular perspective anchored around his life and mirroring some of these first person videos he's been taking from his life, and including other things from the archive. And we went to him and got his blessing, and then he was involved on the process with us, as were his children, Jack narrating, and both Jack and Mercedes in the film.
I mean, I think it was we recognized from the footage that he had, it was a rare opportunity to tell the story of someone's life from their point of view, because you're watching his life unfold through his lens. And so we really wanted to lean into that tonally in the film and try and do something different that didn't need other people's opinions or sit down interviews or anything like that.
Yeah, you let the footage kind of speak for itself. And, we find out that Val Kilmer is kind of a goofy guy. I can totally get it. I'm kind of goofy too, So we don't really know that about him, because of what we'd heard, obviously, through the media, and you touch upon that as well. So did you shoot additional? Because it seems like you were kind of like following him and his kids along the way, right? So that was additional footage you shot?
Oh yeah, we wanted the film to be set in the present, looking back. We didn't want it all to be like an old story from the past. So we set it in the current day, and we were with him, on and off for a couple of years, whatever, and sometimes his children were there around him. So we we wanted to interlink these two timelines, one from the past and one from the present, and they sort of cross at various points in various places.
I'm sure you guys have watched him through the years, and I'm sure he documented you your whole life, right?
Yep.
Now, was there some stuff that you didn't want in there that was about you guys growing up, or?
For sure.
All of it, everything. When they first started making this movie, I was like, God, this is my nightmare. Is this happening? But like very quickly, I was proven wrong about that. But I've always felt very protective of him because we did have a hard time with the paparazzi of the 90s and 2000s. Like that was such a difficult time for actors of his generation or anybody in the public eye of that generation. So I was kind of quite protective when the project began, but Leo and Ting have such care and have such a genuine love and friendship with my dad that there wasn't anything to worry about, and I knew it would be special kind of from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, there were some embarrassing things like, me having braces at 14 or something that I'm glad we're left out, but at the same time, we had to, you have to put things in there to be vulnerable, and things that you don't want people to see have to be in it so that you can tell the story. And so it was worth it to kind of come out in that way.
Yeah, I think that's something that we've learned from our dad, that sometimes you have to sacrifice like your own like image or whatever, your ego, for the greater purpose of creating like a good piece of art. So once I realized that Leo and Ting like were going to actually make like an incredible film, I was like, have it all.
I was recently diagnosed with throat cancer. I'm still recovering, and it is difficult to talk and to be understood.
And most importantly, we want to know, how is your dad doing, Val Kilmer? Is he doing well these days?
He is, he's had really had a grueling recovery. He's like the most resilient person. Like I'm constantly astounded by like how well he is recovering. And he'll be at the premiere tonight. And I'm so excited to see it with him.